Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Happy International Sound Check Day 1212. That's a good one, KKGG. Blonde, Blue, Anna, Niels. Good to see you all. Thank you for coming to the stream. Unfortunately, it has been a bad day for air alerts. They have been going on for hours. Following the drones as they move throughout Ukraine. Currently, Cherkasy has been under air alert for 10 hours, 49 minutes. Kyiv Oblast, 10 hours, 3 minutes. Zhytomyr, 3 hours, 20 minutes. Klemensky, 1 hour, 58 minutes. Vinnytsia, 3 hours, 26 minutes. Odessa, 1 hour, 11 minutes. And Donetsk for 58 minutes. Before we hop in to the after action report from Ukraine, on my community tab of my channel here on YouTube, I have a poll going. At the end of the stream, I'll let Cars for Ukraine know, and we'll get our fundraiser hopping off. A little bit more about the Cars for Ukraine. We're going to be jumping in with the trucks under the Christmas tree with a community goal to raise 150,000 euros. You see some of the other YouTubers, streamers that are chipping in. Shills, Worst Translated, Rick, Johnny FD, ATP, Merc, of course, Starsky. Just some of the people that are going to receive one of the vehicles, 15 vehicles. So 10,000 a vehicle. 14 separate brigade. 129th Brigade of the 237th Battalion, drone unit in Kherson, 82nd Air Assault Brigade, Himira of the GUR. You can go through, watch all these videos. Everyone who contributes 100 euros will receive a limited pin. Some of these pins are listed here. So once we get that going, I'll get you a link for my page and we can start. I don't think we're going to reach like the top 3, but maybe 5th place slot. I don't know. We'll see. I like to do good on this if we can, being the first official fundraiser I'm doing for Ukraine on my YouTube channel. I'm nervous, but I hope we do well. With that out of the way, close here. Again, if you haven't yet, go vote. Let me know what kind of car we should race for. And let's get into operational information as of 8 a.m. December 12th regarding the Russian invasion. As always, we start Glory to Ukraine. The 1023rd day of the large-scale armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine has begun. The situation at the front remains difficult. The enemy is using its superiority in manpower and equipment They continued to attack our positions, Ukrainian defenders steadfastly holding back the onslaught of the occupiers and inflicting significant losses on the enemy. In total, 203 combat clashes were recorded over the past day. This is one of the reasons I started doing this stream. Is when I first read these, I couldn't believe these numbers. This was the numbers of attacks per day, the number of artillery shells used, the bombs, the missiles, nobody was reporting on how much Ukraine was being attacked. And just wanted to do my little part to bring this information to everybody. Moving on, yesterday the enemy launched 2 missile attacks using 15 missiles. Oh, sorry. The enemy launched 2 missile attacks and 15 airstrikes on the positions of Ukrainian units and settlements. 2 missiles were used and 24 glide bombs were used. In addition, it carried out 3,500 shellings using artillery. 134 of those were from multiple launch rocket systems. And Russia used more than 1,000 kamikaze drones for destruction. I want to show you guys this chart. This is about where Ukraine was given permission to use long-range missiles from the West on Russian soil. And this is the number of bombs used per day since then. And since they've been allowed to use long-range missiles on Russia ground, the number of bombs dropped on Ukraine has dropped significantly. From almost a peak of like 180 a day in one day to 24 today. So a huge effect. What more can you say? That's a huge effect right there. So thank you, Biden, for finally approving the use of long-range missiles by Ukraine. The aggressor carried out airstrikes, in particular in the areas of the settlements of Kreminski, Petrivka, Toretsk, Pokrovsk, Novokumar, Rozomny, and Vermika. Over the past day, missile troops and artillery of the defense forces hit 4 command posts and 4 areas of concentration of enemy personnel. So, Ukraine's doing work. Not only the actual striking, but the intel and reconnaissance needed to find those concentrations and command posts. Scroll this up. In the Kharkiv direction, Russian terrorists unsuccessfully stormed the positions of Ukrainian units in the areas of settlements of Glubokhe, Lipetsk, Staritsa, and Voschansk 6 times. Kharkiv, of course, Voschansk, Staritsa, Glubokhe, Lipetsk, just continuing to do attacks in this general area. Thankfully, there has not been reports towards Kozachi Lopan. In the Kupiansk direction, 14 attacks by the invaders took place during the day. The defense forces repelled the enemy assaults near Zapedne, Pishkanke, Lazova, and Zaragova. Again, it's getting to be common towns we're talking about. Lazova, Zarizova, oh shoot. Zapedne and Pishkani. I'm not sure where those are at. Let me see if we could find those. Pishkante. I'm not seeing the third one. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not seeing the other one. It might be one of those small towns you have to zoom in for. Yeah, I'm not seeing them. I apologize. I should be better at finding these towns, but Zapedne, I could not find. In the Lemansky direction, the invaders attacked positions of Ukrainian defenders 30 times. You know, a few days ago, this number was in the single digits. So Russia is stepping up their assaults in the Lemansky, near Le Mans. They tried to penetrate our defenses near... They got a couple good ones for me today. Tvrdohilbove, Druzhelubivka, Novoyehorivka, Grivka, Makivka, Terny, Torsky, Hirohorivka, and Kopanka, as well as in the Severodonetsk forest. Let's go from the bottom to the top. Severodonetsk forest is here. Hirohorivka, Torske, Yampolivka, Terny, Novolubivka, Makivka, Hrivka, Novoihorivka, and Kopanki. Pretty much every town along the front line. I'm sorry, I have to remember to mark where I was at because this lack of formatting on these is getting to me. In the Service direction, Ukrainian defenders repelled one assault by Russian invaders near Virkno-Kamansky. Oh, that's a tough one. Virkno-Kamansky. Okay. In the Kramatorsk direction, the enemy made two attempts to advance near the settlements of Chasiv Yar and Stupochny. Oh, come on. So, Virkno-Kamansky is here. For Service direction, come down towards Kramatorsk. Kramatorsk is here, Konstantinivka, and of course the attacks in Chasiv Yar and Stupochny directions. Ukraine is holding strong in these areas, and no advances today. So all those attacks amounted to nothing. And I forgot to mark it again. Actively using guided aerial bombs in the Toretsk direction, the invaders stormed the positions of our defenders 5 times in the Toretsk area. Toretsk is just almost directly south of Chasiv Yar here, and no advances were made. That was yesterday. This is today. So no advances were made today in this direction. But again, the fighting in Toretsk is very convoluted. Reports of Russia's trying to take the Terekon, as they're called in Ukrainian, have been repelled. We've seen fighting street to street, building to building, house to house, even room to room in Toretsk. It's a dangerous situation, and the fighting is ongoing. And we get to Pokrovsk. In the Pokrovsk direction, our defenders stopped 40 offensive actions of the aggressor. The enemy actively used aviation. It stormed Ukrainian positions in the areas of the settlements of Serchenko, Pishkanty, Novotorisky, Novo-Oleksivka, Novitrud, Daratsky, Lysivka, Mirolubivka, Promin, and Pokrovsk. Unfortunately, the Pokrovsk area is getting more and more difficult. Of course, Mirolubivka, Promin, Lysivka, Dasheshny, Novitrud, Servachenko, Novotoresky, and Novo-Olenivka. So basically every city, town, and village along the front line. Only minor gains near Novotoresky today by Russia. Unfortunately, they are getting closer and closer to Pokrovsk. It's not, 3.3 kilometers from, let me go directly to the edge of the red, 3.6 kilometers. It's not far. And of course, there is a rail line leading straight up into Pokrovsk. Russia loves their rail lines. Both sides are covered by tree lines, so they have protection to move up. Fortunately, the situation is rather difficult in this area. Moving on to Kharkiv direction. There we go. Kharkiv direction, Defense Forces repelled 49 attacks. The occupiers most actively tried to advance in Sansivka, Staroturny, Dasheny, Zori, Korokovo, Dasheny, Katrinivka, Yelizavetivka, Ganivka, Antonivka, and Upenskivka. The situation in Kurokov, south of Kurokov, is not the greatest. Of course, we start here in Zora, and let me get rid of the ruler. Zora was, according to Deep State map, Zora was captured today. Sansivka is pretty much all captured. There's a few lines of houses in the gray zone. Staroturny, Russia is in control of the north side of the dam. Again, that dam was damaged a few weeks back. Small advance in Kurokova. Delaney, of course, Russia is pushing into Upensivka. There has been attempts to remove the Russians from the buildings in Upensivka. But it's the typical Russian tactic. You run in. If you get into a building, you stay there. You stay hidden until you get a large enough group to advance to further housing. That's the same trick they're using. They're sending meat wave after meat wave and basically using snowball effect as a military tactic. In the past, I had assumed that Ukrainian troops had been pulled out of this area. They have not been, unfortunately. And the situation is not looking the greatest for these troops. It's not their fate is sealed type of situation yet, but it is a very dangerous situation for the troops in this area. To the point that, let me pull this up. Let me get to my channel. There are reports that Ukrainian defense forces are close to being surrounded in the settlements of Ganivka, and details of the number of soldiers involved is not reported. The commander of the Donetsk military, stupid fly, General Lutsenko, has been removed from his post. This situation, the general got fired for. There's a new general in charge, and he is trying to alleviate the situation as we speak. I am hoping for good news in the next couple of hours. It is about 5 o'clock in Ukraine, 4:40 a.m. in Ukraine. So hopefully they're withdrawing right now. I mean, it's not an OPSEC thing. Russia knows it. Russia's Telegram channels are reporting on it. It should have never got to this point, and that is why that general has been fired. No, troops are not surrounded yet, but it is a possibility if Russia closes this section. As it is, they are going to have to withdraw through a gray zone. Like I said, there's a new general in charge, and he is trying to take care of this situation as we speak. Of course, the information we get is already out of date. Ukraine doesn't release information like as things are happening. This isn't, a report on the election. You can't, just go as things go, report it. There's OPSEC involved, and Ukraine doesn't report it until it's no longer critical to their operations. So that means we don't hear about it until they're done with it. And then for us to report it, there's even more lag. So like this is 8 o'clock yesterday morning that this was released. And here it is almost 5 o'clock. So in 3 hours and 20 minutes, they will release another report like this for today. This is yesterday's information. With some of today mixed in. Moving on to Vermits direction. The enemy carried out 29 assaults on our positions in the areas of Trudovo, Konstantopolsky, Sukovjali, Blahodatne, and Novodorivka. It actively involved bomber aircraft for strikes in this direction. Russia did any. Now, Trudov, Konstantinovsky, Sukovjali, Blahodatne, and Novodorivka. Russia's main effort is in this area, of course, trying to get the morale goal in, Elizavetsivka and Upensivka area. Dang it, I forgot to do it again. Usually a direction we don't hear from. In the Huliopol direction, the enemy did not conduct offensive operations yesterday. In the Orohiv direction, the enemy once attacked positions of our defenders in Novoandrivka, and 5 times the invaders unsuccessfully tried to displace the defense forces from occupied positions in the Dnipro direction. Let's go. Let me mark that. Huliopol, no offensive actions. And as you can see, there's very few Russian units assigned to this area. Orohiv had 1 attack in Novodanlivka and 5 attacks along the Dnipro. And in general, just assume that those attacks were somewhere in this area. They don't give us city names to look at where those actions are taking place, but usually assume this area, and in general, more than likely in these areas where there are buildings and settlements along the river islands. If Russia can get a foothold in there, they have a launching pad to try and get back into Kherson. In the Volyn and Policia directions, no signs of the formation of offensive groups were detected. In the operational zone of Kursk, units of the defense forces of Ukraine repelled 22 Russian attacks over the past day. On the border with Chernihiv and Sumy regions, the enemy from the territory of Russian Federation is actively using artillery and aviation in the areas of Ukrainian settlements. Daily they're attacking civilians along the border. Our soldiers are inflicting significant losses in manpower and equipment on the occupation forces and are actively undermining the enemy's offensive potential in the rear. Goes into the losses. We'll cover that with the graphic. Join the defense forces, Razom do Peremojemo, and Glory to Ukraine. Let me pull up the graphic for today. Total combat losses of the enemy, December 12th, the 1023rd day of the Russian invasion. Losses of 1,390 personnel, 6 tanks, 28 armored personnel vehicles, 5 artillery systems, 2 cruise missiles, 54 vehicles, and 1 special equipment. Anti-aircraft warfare systems, these are like the radar units and the missile systems like the S-300, S-400. that they're using to launch missiles at, instead of at planes, they're launching these at cities in Ukraine. And it's keeping on track of 1 per day of the invasion. These units are 15 to 35 million, depending on the type. So, and Russia has lost essentially 1 per day of the invasion. I'd like to see more of those get blown up, but hopefully this means like Russia's running out of them. I have the weather pulled up from AccuWeather for Dnipro, because there's a lot of talk about the snow, what the weather's like, why the weather's been helping Russia, unfortunately, for now. It's been a crazy ride for temperatures. This is in Celsius. So you see 7 degrees and 2 degrees on Wednesday. And then today, -2 and -6. Of course, 0 in Celsius is the freezing point. And they're expecting snow in the next couple hours. So 3 to 6 centimeters of snow. That's showing my time not there. So in about 3 hours, they'll start getting snowfall. Of course, windstorm, and then 7 a.m. for them, snow. So about 2 hours, they'll start getting their snow in Dnipro. Looks like Odessa, Klemensky, and Zhytomyr air alerts have dropped off. And I have a bit of a wild ride for you guys today. Going to Zelensky official Telegram channel. Zelensky was a busy man today. Of course, they put out a informational piece about the army. Translate this for you. Ground Forces Day in Ukraine today. And this is the video they put out for him. But this is what Zelensky did today. Oh, hold on. I need to get better at remembering to slow these back down. It's the only way I can get through as much information as I get through in a day. HIMARS installation.
Вітаю вас, дуже приємно бути у вас сьогодні, нагородити вас, подякувати вам за службу, за те, що захищаєте Україну, наші сім'ї всіх українців, нашу батьківщину. Дякуємо вам, бажаю вам здоров'я, витримки, міцності, перемоги. Нехай хаймарси не підводять, нехай б'ють ворожі цілі. Ну і я хочу вас привітати з вашим днем. Сьогодні з Днем сухопутних військ. 4 числа був ще один у вас день. Бачите, у вас багато днів. І я впевнений, що ви на це особисто заслуговуєте. Ще раз вас вітаю, і вас, і ваших побратимів з цим днем, Днем сухопутних військ. І слава Україні!
Героям слава! Basically showing them how the HIMARS worked, handed out awards to the crews of the HIMARS. Essentially what he was saying, our soldiers from the 27th Rocket Artillery Brigade, HIMARS Division, the guys are working to protect our Zaporizhia and Donetsk region from the occupier. It is an honor to be with our soldiers today, to congratulate them on the Day of Ground Forces and the recent Day of Missile Forces and Artillery, to celebrate with awards. Thank you for your service and protection of our state and people. Let HIMARS not fail. let them hit enemy targets. So that was one of his visits today. The second video I got for you is he visited the first underground advanced surgical group in Ukraine. The hospital has already saved more than 1,000 lives. Here, the medics received wounded fighters directly from the battlefield and provide them with medical assistance. He personally thanked and honored our doctors with awards. Thank you for your service and for the saving the lives of our defenders.
Де вони можуть собі приготувати їжу, вони навіть телевізор, PlayStation, щоб могли собі відключити. Купають середню ступу, поранені середню ступу. Надавали нам фінансову підтримку в плані закупки матеріалів і
Fucking Russian flies.
монітори, капнографи, відсмоктувачі і тому подібне. Представники іноземці, які хочуть бути дотичні до цього, на кому їх не спілкувався. В протокол не введені взагалі. Ну, вони...
Дякую за службу. Дякую. Вітаю. Бережіть себе. Дуже дякую вам.
Дякую.
Вітаю, Андрійович.
Служу українському народу.
Приємно привітати вас, познайомитись. Так, пан Кирило. Дякую вам.
Служу українському народу.
Дякую вам за службу.
Служу українському
Вітаю.
народу.
Дякуємо за збереження життя. Ну і бережіть своє життя. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Дякую.
Хочу окремо, як завжди.
And again, up on the front line, met with soldiers of the 65th Separate Mechanized Brigade, which defends Zaporizhia. An important and sincere conversation with the brigade commander and commanders of the battalions and companies, our soldiers who understand their task and what is needed for effective protection. Improving the training of the mobilized is one of our topics. The possibility of conducting basic combined military training directly in the brigades. Thank you to the fighters of the brigade, all of our soldiers for protecting Ukraine, for restraining the enemy and defending our land.
Хочу вас привітати і всю вашу 65-ту окрему механізовану бригаду, привітати вас з Днем Сухопутних військ. Я хочу вам подякувати від всіх нас за захист нашої держави. Можу побажати тільки здоров'я і витримки. Дякую, що стримуєте ворога. Дякуємо вашим рідним, близьким за те, що підтримують вас. Ще раз вас вітаю. Бережіть себе, це найголовніше. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Вітаю.
Служу українському народові.
Дякую за службу. Так.
Служу українському народу.
Дякую за службу. Так, дякую. Дякую за службу.
Служу українському народу.
Дякую.
Служу українському народу.
Дякую за службу. Так.
Служу українському народові.
Дякую за службу. Дякую за службу.
Служу українському народові.
Дякую за службу.
And it just goes to show you the kind of man Zelensky is. You know, our presidents during war times in the past, like, summoned the troops to come to Washington, D.C. to receive their medals. And here Zelensky's going to the front line to hand out medals, to get updates, to talk directly with the soldiers on the front line. He also spoke with the 118th Separate Mechanized Brigade, the 128th Separate Brigade, talking about training of the military, changes in educational centers, modernization of systems that are needed. You know, goes and gets what's need. You know, finds out what's needed directly from the soldiers, not, you know, the bureaucracy and red tape. the new commander of land forces to he received clear task, ready to carry him out. And he does his speech from the train heading back to Kyiv. You see Zaporizhia in the background of the window. We'll play that when we get down to the English version with the subtitles. But on top of visiting the troops, he visited a modern school, which actually located in a shelter, and talked with the children. 1,000 children can study here in 2 shifts. Now 10 more similar schools are being built in the region so that more children can get an education in safe conditions. This unique school, which was built in a half of a year, is very important. It is necessary that as many children as possible learn not online, but together with others in regular atmosphere, a school atmosphere, when not only knowledge is acquired, but also social communication and life skills. I am grateful to anyone who implements such projects for the sake of our people.
Розкажіть, які враження від часу?
Як справи? Як школа? Ви на все відповідаєте добре?
Тому що їм подобається, вони сьогодні перший раз прийшли. Перший раз побачили. Дітки до нас завітали, шановні гості. Привітаємося.
Доброго дня. Як справи? Добре. Як настрій?
Одне слово, ми точно вже вивчили сьогодні. Добре. А що ви робите сьогодні?
Сьогодні робимо символи, красимо, світла, миру. Це ж майстерня і ми створюємо. Так.
Okay, I have to stop this video and go back just for one thing.
Це ж майстерня.
I think that girl has a crush on Zelensky.
Я загадав. А ти загадав?
І ти не кажи, я кажу.
І ти не кажи, так? Все? Ми повісимо разом?
Так. Бажання всі
Ми віримо, що у вас те саме випадку.
Я в цьому навіть впевнений.
Добре.
Дякую.
Стоп! У кожного свої стратегії, як розумієте. У нас тут на 3D принтері є, і діти надрукували для вас подарунок. Можна?
Ну давайте.
Це від дітей на згадку, так сказати.
3D брелок.
Так, так?
Дуже дякую.
Можливо.
Дякую. А все добре.
This is all in one day that he's doing all this. Of course, he went to visit the place where the missile hit the other day. You know, barbershop. How is that? How is a barbershop a military target? And you get to see a bit of the cleanup crews still at work in Zaporizhia. I don't know why they posted the same video twice, but he's, you know, showing him back at the thing. And here is the speech with English subtitles for you folks.
Українки, сьогодні Запоріжжя, область, День сухопутних військ. Привітав наших воїнів, відзначив нагородами 65-та окрема механізована бригада, 27-ма ракетна артилерійська, також наші українські медики. Всім дуже вдячний. Став пункт на Запорізькому напрямку. Дуже високий рівень. Дякую вам за фаховість. Дякую всім за захист України, наших людей. Важлива розмова з командирами різних ланок була. Комбати, старші офіцери, потрібні зміни в тренуванні військових, в навчальних центрах. Також в самих бригадах увесь ефективний досвід навчання треба масштабувати і швидше. Бойова бригада часто це найкращий інструктор, дуже правильна річ, це кошти прямо в бригади, щоб вони на свій власний розсуд купували дрони саме, які їм потрібні. Кошти ми збільшуємо. Робота з дронами теж має завжди змінюватись, тому що має адаптуватись під розвиток бойової ситуації. Війна вимагає змін, щоб берегти життя наших хлопців та захищати Україну. Багато роботи щодо Запоріжжя. Безпекова ситуація, захист неба. Я провів засідання ставки сьогодні. Саме тут, передусім, щодо ППО, стабілізація фронту, досягнення наших основних безпекових завдань. Нам потрібен справжній мир, а отже ми маємо бути дійсно сильними саме для цього. І маємо робити все, щоб кожен день наближав нас до миру. Тут, у Запоріжжі, почала роботу перша сучасна школа. Сьогодні були там, школа прямо в укритті, вона безпечна. 1000 дітей може навчатись. І завдяки саме цьому третьокласники, другокласники і найменші діточки змогли навчатись разом, офлайн, щоб всі соціальні навички були. Дуже важливо це, щоб війна не забирала у дітей шанс стати успішними, дорослими. Ми будуємо інші такі школи у прифронтових регіонах і в Запорізькій області, зокрема. Ми будемо говорити з партнерами вже наступного тижня заради більшої кількості протиповітряної оборони, заради швидшого миру. Я хочу подякувати всім. Дякую Запоріжжя, дякую Дніпро. Був сьогодні із ними на зв'язку. Дякую всім, хто нам допомагає. Слава Україні!
Героям слава. And you may have noticed, like, I was looking off to the side here. I was just checking out the reflection. For most of the speech, you could see his reflection. There's nobody else in the room. He doesn't have somebody holding the camera for him, giving him cue cards. This is what he does every day. There's nobody even standing out at the doorway. This could have been his alone time, his relaxing time. Instead, he chooses to make these videos, these speeches, to tell you what he's doing, what Ukraine is doing, tell his people what he's doing, thanking them, thanking you, and reminding us that Ukraine will win. That is a day in the life of Zelensky. He's doing a lot every day. And this is one of the few times we get to see almost all of it. I'm going to go back to the air raid map. And I've gone a long time talking. And I kind of want to get caught up with chat. I know I missed a lot. K-Bell, sorry I missed you. Thanks for coming and hitting the like button. Mertzi, hello. Forgive me if I missed anybody. Attackums can be long range depending on the missile. The HIMARS is able to carry 2 launching systems, a single missile, and the 6-pack. So one of the things they're called is the Silver Bullet, the single big can, and the 6-pack. Beer references. So the HIMARS system can carry 2 types of missiles. Well, more than 2 types of missiles, but 2 sizes of missiles. And in each size class, there's different missiles that can be used with something like, I forget the total range, but easily 800 kilometers. So they can be fairly long range. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, Anna, don't let it become, don't keep putting it off for someday. Here I am, 49 now, and regretting not having kids when I was younger. It is what it is. So someday becomes, oh shit, I need to get on that. So just watch out for that. Bombsheller says she couldn't find the man of her dreams, so she made him her son, Alex. Thanks, Raptor. One of these days we'll have to do a fundraiser to get you a keyboard with the caps lock key that works. Hey, Aussie T, Mr. Squiggle. You'll have to explain to me how cold that is, Mertzy. I don't understand. I haven't been to a brothel since I lived in Vegas. And that was just to see what the hell was going on, and I got the hell out of there. Green is my favorite color, so it's one of my favorite shirts, and it's a cleaning shirt. You guys can't see it, but like right over here is a vacuum cleaner. Today's like cleaning day. I didn't get enough done. Stupid flies. I'm being attacked by Russian flies. I need anti-fly support. Sorry. Oh, I'm silly. I know. I apologize. No, I don't. Group hugs. I'm late, but never too late. I see people asking Mertzy about a travel date. Does that mean you're heading back to Ukraine, Mertzy? Talking about birthdays. So, in case I miss anybody's birthday, I apologize. I don't keep track of stuff like that very well. So, happy birthday to anybody that I've missed. Yeah, I understand the whole extended family thing. My mom had 8 brothers and sisters, so I have cousins coming out of my ears, and their kids, and it's hard to keep track of all of it. I have a day planner like with all the days written down in it, and it just, unfortunately, I only look at it when it's like, oh, I remember somebody's birthday's coming up. Oh, okay. So I am caught up with chat. Frog drone. No, they're dead now, Mark Saganong. The damn flies. I took one on the arm. I smacked myself with it because the fly kept landing on my arm. So I was just sitting here waiting with the fly swatter. And, I'm not rich enough to be the favorite uncle. I'd go broke trying to get all of my cousins and nephews and such presents. I'd go broke. Sue me. Air alert started 22 minutes ago. So did Zelensky's speech, did all of his happenings for today, and I still have more videos for you. Coming back to Telegram, Canty Center, 3 subscribers, woohoo! So 2 of you are sneaking looks at the videos before I'm able to play them. So I was just going to play the hospital for you and the speech, but then I saw everything else he was doing and decided to do a whole segment on just his videos from today. Russian warehouse was defended from Ukrainian drones today. This is the result of the drones crashing. So, just a small fire here. And it gets a little bigger. Again, Ukrainian sent drones into Russia. Russia says they shot them all down, that they did not hit where they were intended. But here is a warehouse of equipment going up in flames. Couple months back, Kherson, got labeled the Ukrainian safari. I don't really like that phrase because it takes the human element out of it, in my opinion. But here is a little taste of that with Russians dropping drones on a fire truck that was putting out a fire at a school. Yes, that is a war crime. I won't play it. I don't want to play it, but maybe I should. I'll read out the text for you first. A Kremlin demographer has suggested launching a national project to save men due to recent excessive male mortality rate in Russia. He named drunkenness, fights at a young age, mental suffering as reasons that led to low life expectancy of Russian men. Somehow he never mentioned the war. Russia has a very high mortality rate among men between the ages of 25 and 45, which is 5 to 6 times higher than that of Europe's figures. Yuri, whatever, head of the National Council of the Institute of Demography, Migration, and Regional Development, complained. What to do? This must be a key task for the next 20 to 30 years. We need a national project aimed at saving men. This problem cannot be solved without structural changes in society, revision of values, and state support. Stopping the war is not an option that comes to their minds. And the video is Putin at a meeting with Russian soldiers who lost limbs in the war and are now undergoing rehabilitation. Yeah, I'm not playing that. Today's the day of greatest hit albums, it seems. 37th Marines put out a video of their greatest hits for the last couple of weeks. And here comes one Russian assault. Multiple avenues of coordination, from artillery to FPV drones to Mavics doing the surveillance. And then, here's how bad Russia is. They're using ATVs and dirt bikes to do assaults. Stop, drop, and roll, dummy. Turn this into a public service announcement. If you get caught on fire, you stop, you drop to the ground, and you roll. Big boom. I think that's a thing, like, from gaming. I haven't been conscious of it, so I couldn't answer that accurately. Yeah, just to reiterate the point that Russians don't know how fire works. Oh, I didn't forward the video, so here's the video for you. Let me back this up for a second. And you see a figure here using a water bottle, hopefully, to throw water on the fire. I'm hoping that's a water bottle, not a vodka bottle. Maybe it was vodka. And that's what they were trying to put out with a water bottle. This is a tank. Ukrainian girl's Christmas wish. Not a video, just a couple of pictures. She brings some soldiers a gift bag, and that was what was in the gift bag. 12-year-old daughter of border guard asked St. Nicholas to bring her a drone. The girl has now received the gift and handed it to the border scouts along with a baked gingerbread. These are the coolest fundraisers, the coolest stories that I've seen. You don't hear about these, but even the kids in Ukraine are trying to help out, directly to their fathers and their fathers' units. And it is the most heartwarming thing ever. Getting back to the greatest hits, the 46 released a greatest hits of Khodorkovsky. And here's the video. And you slowly see, hold on, I'll back that up. Slowly Khodorkovsky is turning into the Russian mirror. Only a few buildings have roofs left on them. You see back here, like 2 houses with roofs. The rest are all collapsed. You just kind of get a glimpse of the equipment Russia's using. Like, that was a golf cart. Here's looked like a lawnmower. Some drone-on-drone action. And this is the army that considers themselves the second greatest army in the world. Running around in golf carts, dirt bikes, ATVs as military vehicles. Talking about the pocket, the Russian strikes, just so you guys can see the reporting itself. Analysis from the general staff. Russia halved the intensity of glide bombs after ATACMS and Storm Shadow missiles. Strikes on Russia were allowed. One of the reasons for the sharp decline in the number of strikes may be the permission to strike deep into Russian territory with Western long-range missiles. The threats of using ATACMS has forced Russia to move fighter bombers to airfields located farther away, thus cutting down on the number of attacks in Ukraine. That's all I have for you today with Telegram. Looks like EU is announcing they will completely sever all energy ties with Russia. Coming off Russia making a deal with India for like $13 billion worth of oil a year. And we see new air alerts popping up all over the eastern part of Ukraine. Dnipro for 11 minutes, Zaporizhia for 10, Kharkiv for 12, Poltava for 12, Sumy 37, Chernihiv 10. Kiev Oblast is in the 11th hour of air alert. Cherkasky going on 12 hours of air alerts. Vinnytsia at 4 hours 36 minutes. And Ternopil started 5 minutes ago. Going on to popular news. I wish I had elevate videos like that from the elevator, but sadly I'm not in Russia and I can't get those myself. And well, it is what it is. Biden administration says it's surging deliveries to Ukraine as Trump criticized decisions to allow U.S. Missiles used on Russian territory. Another $500 million aid package has been announced. 10 days ago, Washington said 725 million. Today's package is 500 million, and about 5.6 billion worth of presidential drawdown authority remains. Keep sending it. Keep going, Biden. You got plenty more to send. Don't know what else to say to that. Send $1.25 billion. Still have 5.6 billion to go. You only got about a month left to do it. New York Times. Humbled in Syria, Putin seeks vindication in Ukraine. That's one of my worries, is Ukraine's going to pay for what happened in Syria. If it wasn't a New York Times article, I'd click on it and read more about it, but unfortunately, New York Times is paywalled. Trump pushes Ukraine ceasefire to be overseen by European forces. Poland said no. There's a lot of speculation about what Trump's plan is going to be. There really hasn't been any word about that. There's several options being discussed. It's a lot of speculation and rumors at the moment. I'll hold off on commenting until I hear what Trump's plan actually is. Use frozen Russian assets to aid Ukraine, says top EU diplomat. Billions of Russian state funds are frozen in the European Union, should be used to aid Ukraine. Kaja Kallas. Okay. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. EU's High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security told The Guardian and 4 other European newspapers that Ukraine had a legitimate claim for compensation and that Russian assets held in the EU were a tool to pressure Russia. Most definitely. EU has already begun skimming the profit off Russian assets held in the bloc for Ukraine, but has balked at seizing the entire sum. 210 billion is being held in EU. There you go. Take that, give it to Ukraine. That neutralizes India's deal with Russia. The EU holds more than 2/3 of Russia's 300 billion sovereign assets frozen by Western allies. My understanding is that figure is actually 350 billion. Reports are different, so who knows for sure. She suggests that Russian funds would help pay the bill for all the damage Russia has caused to Ukraine. Yes, it would. Yeah, I'm not reading the rest of that. Forbes, Ukrainian drones strand a Russian assault group, then Ukrainian Marines finish it off. So this is in Konstantinopolski, near Khodorkova. Ukrainian brigades and battalions in the Khodorkova pocket in southern Donetsk are in a precarious position, but they are not giving up without a fight. One of Russia's top objectives in Ukraine right now is to eliminate the 9-mile-deep Ukrainian-held salient between Adriivka and Delaney. Anchored in the north by Khodorkova and in the south by a string of villages, including Konstantinopolski. The salient is the main impediment to an uncomplicated Russian assault on Pokrovsk, the Ukrainian fortress city 25 miles to the north. As long as the Ukrainians control the Kharkova, they can threaten the flanks of the Russian 90th Guard Tank Division as it marches on Pokrovsk. But the pocket itself is in danger of being cut off across its flanks if the Russians can attack from Konstantinopolski or some other southern village to Dachny. They could encircle elements of several Ukrainian brigades. Russian military command assesses that Russian forces will be able to close the Ukrainian pocket, but Ukrainian Marine Corps are determined to prove Russian commanders wrong. In a fierce battle honored before Tuesday, Russian assault group made a move on Konstantinopolski. The Ukrainian 37th Marine Brigade met the attackers. Dang Russians never go away. I don't know why that won't go full screen. And I'm not going on X to watch it. Oh, this was in that greatest hits video I just showed you. I recognize the house. Okay, that's too small to see any detail on, so no, I'm not going on Twitter. Of course, you can go on Forbes and, War Translated, Dimitri, he does good work, but I'm not going on Twitter anymore. Come to Blue Sky, War Translated. Top Russian cruise missile engineer gunned down near Moscow. I saw the reports for this yesterday. Unfortunately, they included videos of him laying in the snow, which I couldn't show on YouTube, so I just kind of skipped over it. So, yes, this is the guy that was in charge of trying to update the Kinzhal 59 to the new Kinzhal 69. Russia's hypersonic missile that is not hypersonic. There's a quote here. Anyone who is involved in the development of the Russian military-industrial complex in support of Russian aggression in Ukraine one way or another is a legitimate target. So apparently Ukrainian intelligence service claimed that it has taken this guy out. Russian authorities, propagandists, and mainstream news channels have not commented on this. Yeah. A second Ukrainian intelligence source confirmed Ukrainska Pravda that Ukrainian intelligence agents had plotted and carried out the assassination, saying he was shot dead in the forest park near Kotelniki, whatever, some Russian town. So just outside of Moscow. So Ukraine even has agents working just outside of Moscow. Good to know. I hate that that's too close to Donald Trump. But Poland's Donald Tusk hits brakes on Ukraine's peacekeeping force. Tusk says no plans to send Polish troops to Ukraine in event of ceasefire. Amid speculation that Western powers could put boots on the ground there if a ceasefire is reached, Tusk was speaking after talks in Warsaw with French President Emmanuel Macron. Part of a diplomatic efforts by European powers to demonstrate the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump that they are keen to assume their share of the burden to end the almost 3-year war in Ukraine. Trump has made clear that he will push for an immediate ceasefire and negotiations to end the conflict, although we still don't know what that plan entails. Give me details. I want details. And of course, going into old news, Ukraine weakened Russia enough for the Syrian revolt to take place. I'm sure Syrian rebels would disagree with that, but you know, if it wasn't for the war in Ukraine, Russia would have helped Assad a lot more. That's all the news I have for today from the mainstream media. But again, I wanted to touch on the weather here. I didn't really go into it. Like, 7 degrees for the high on Wednesday, -2 for the high today, back up above freezing next Wednesday, and then it fluctuates back and forth until the end of December, early January, where it really starts getting cold, and you'll see the mud hopefully end in this time frame. You see much higher than the normal trends, but that is unfortunately Mother Nature under current climate change situations. Chernivtsi has been added to the list of air raids 2 minutes ago. Let me get over to my Ukrainian account on Telegram. And 11 minutes ago, there are also missile carriers that have gone to sea. It is likely there will be launches of the Caliber cruise missiles in the near future. So it does not look like it's going to be a good morning in Ukraine, unfortunately. Russia, I don't even know what to say. Missiles or there's one missile in Ternopil heading towards Ivano-Frankish. About a half hour ago, 8 aircraft had launched that carried the Kinzhal 101 cruise missile. Within the next half hour for us, they expect missiles to enter Ukrainian airspace. So definitely heightened alert. If you're in Ukraine, head to the shelters. That's a weird one, KKGG. I don't know. Let's check on the poll as I start losing my voice. I'm loving my new picture for YouTube. No new votes, unfortunately, for the stream. General purpose, medics, or technical, one of the rocket equipped ones. So if you guys haven't voted, take the time out to go vote. I'm going to catch up with chat to see how you're doing. McSquiggle asks, why didn't Assad hide in Dubai? You have to remember Assad was killing Muslims in Syria as well as Christians and everyone else. Dubai wasn't a place where he could hide and probably still live. Oh God, Gobi, what do you call a lazy kangaroo? A pouch potato? Yeah, another answer for that one. Mertzy's joke was what's black and white and red all over. A newspaper also works. Except not really anymore, because nobody reads newspapers anymore. If it doesn't change, I am just going to go with general purpose. Because general purpose can cover any of those three. And honestly, I don't expect us to reach a full vehicle. We'll probably have to tack on with somebody else to get the vehicle funded. So general purpose is easier to add on to somebody else's campaign. Just go back to their website, campaigns, and 21,216.57 has been raised. You can see there's a large contingency of supporters trying to get this raised. If you scroll down to the bottom, and Mercado's done, 10,500 in donations on Mercado's behalf, 6,500 on ATP's behalf, 2,870 on I can't pronounce that. Suchomis. 517 with Johnny FD, and 380 from the Shills. So once it's set up, I'll get a donation in there to start everybody off and let you guys know when it's active. But so no updates. Because of the tie at the end of my stream, I invoke executive decision. Yeah, okay. Well, some of that was dyslexia, some of that was just bad spelling. So, there we go. General purpose it will be. So, well, yeah, that's kind of my point with there, Claire. I don't think I'll be able to do like an entire truck by myself. So tacking on with somebody else, general purpose, just allows me to like tack on with the Shills if they don't reach their goal, or Johnny FD, or any of the other guys that come late. We can work together to get one of the trucks. I see it as a community goal, not an individual goal. But we'll go from there. So do I need to write you and let you know, or we all set? That's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you for coming to the stream. Thank you for supporting Ukraine. I really appreciate the support for that it's out there for Ukraine. If you ask me if this about the level of support before the full-scale invasion happened, I don't know what I would say. You know, I was in an accident before the war, back in 2017, and you know, was bedridden for months. I'd always, from like the early 90s, I'd studied Ukraine, studied the history, medieval times, love looking at pictures of castles, reading about the stories. Of course, Princess Olga, who I'm sure you've heard the story where she asked the people of a town to hand over like 2 pigeons and 2 doves or something like that. They did. She left, tied like little torches onto their legs, let them go, and they went back to roost and burnt down the opposing noble city. And that was one of the stories that got me intrigued with Ukraine back in the 90s. So when I got into my accident, I was going through depression, really bad depression. And the thing that got me out of it was deciding to finally follow my dream and I see Ivano Frankish. This whole area of Ukraine has some very beautiful castles. Even down in here by Odessa in Bilhograd, Akhmat Fortress is down here. Beautiful castle. I wanted to go visit the castles, visit the old Kievan Rus territories, from Odessa up to Novgorod. And I was literally planning out my trip and ready to book flights, hotels, all that. And went to bed, said I'd book them in the morning so I don't make mistakes from being overtired. Woke up to news of the invasion happening. You know, that's my story of how I came to support Ukraine during this invasion. You know, the money I saved up for that trip, I helped buy vehicle. To a lesser degree, I went there earlier this year and visited Kyiv. Poltava, a couple other smaller villages. The money I had left over at the end of my trip, I bought for EcoFlow River 2s and handed those out to units in Ukraine. This was all my money, not, no fundraising. I shouldn't say no fundraising, because a couple people helped me out along the way that I didn't ask them to help. They just, here, you're there, put this to good use. And I'm very appreciative of those people. They help make those River 2s happen. So if you make another account, you can vote again. But no, I've already closed it. The poll's done. It's more than likely we're going to be tacking on to somebody else's truck to get it fulfilled. So I think general purpose is the way to go. This way it can go towards whoever needs it to finish their truck. I think that's the way to go. I mean, we're not a large community. We're a dedicated community. And I know we're not going to be like a top fundraiser for this campaign, but I'm a firm believer that, you know, many twigs makes an unbreakable bunch. Well, we are many twigs. Besides, I need to make my intro longer, so hopefully Cars for Ukraine will let me use one of the videos to extend my intro. Budaka, yeah. So again, thank you for supporting Ukraine. I appreciate you all very much. Have a good night. Stay safe, everybody. Pray for Ukraine. And Razom de Peremojemo. Together we will win. Because that's the only way we can do it, is together. Golby says Helena lost a family member. Sorry to hear that. I do have to ask which Helena, because I know several of them. Keep us up to date, Golby. Let us know. Thank you all. Have a good night.